Question 4. Metal can be arranged in a reactivity series according to how reactive they are. Complete the following reactivity series by suggesting names for the metals A to D. Potassium, and then next one, this one should be sodium, and then calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, copper, mercury, silver, platinum, or gold. Now, as we are suggesting the names, that means the symbol is not acceptable. As a result, you have to write down copper and then the platinum and gold. You have to write down it is platinum and then gold or gold. So we have to write the name instead of the formula. This is part A. Part B. Lead can be extracted from its ore, galena, which is mainly lead to sulfide. The extraction is done into two major steps. Write the word equations and chemical equation for these two steps. So the first one is the lead to sulfide. We start with lead to sulfide, and then when we heat it, it will become one thing. So that should be containing lead. But if you remember, lead should be extracted from heating with carbon from its ore. So the one that's heating with carbon should be at the second step. So what is it? It should be the lead to oxide. Just because the carbon can only help us to take away the oxide and itself to become carbon dioxide. And then that is releasing the lead out. As a result of that, we can think about this. Lead can be extracted by heating with carbon, but you are starting with sulfide. Sulfide, it cannot react with carbon, so the carbon reacting with what? It should be reacting with the oxygen. As a result of that, it should be lead to oxide. That is here, it is lead to oxide as well. Well, how come it can become lead to oxide? Just because you are adding oxygen in the air. The oxygen in the air react with the lead to sulfide. And don't forget, there is a gas given out, which is called sulfur dioxide. So actually, like I didn't balance the blue one, but if you forget this one, then simply we just need to remember that lead to sulfide, when it is heated with oxygen in the air, it will become lead to oxide, and then sulfur dioxide. So this one should be able to memorize. While the lead to oxide that we give out can follow the second step, and then it will react with carbon and then becomes pure lead and then the carbon dioxide. But we have to balance it. We have to balance the equation. For example, lead to sulfide and oxygen. Then how to balance it? The first thing is we have to think about we have free oxygen on the right hand side. We have free oxygen on the right hand side, but you just got 2. So to make it simple, we multiplied it by 3 so that altogether there is 6 oxygen. If there is 6 oxygen, how to make it to become 6 then? This one will be 2, and then this one will be 2 as well. As a result of that, here it will become 6 oxygen now. Well, that means it remains the 2 Pb and 2S. So 2 Pb and 2S, that means it should be 2 PbS. So the first equation has been balanced. So this is the first one, the word equation and the chemical equation. Well, next one, it is about the lead to oxide and carbon reacting and then be given out pure lead and carbon dioxide. So another method to balance the equation, can you see that here we have 2 oxygen? So it should be having 2 lead to oxide as well. As we have 2 lead-2 oxide, that means it will become 2 lead will be given out. The carbon on the left and carbon on the right is already been the same. As a result, we don't need to add it. As a result, this one, the step 2, 2BBO, adding carbon C, it will become 2BB and then CO2. Question C. In terms of their reactivity, explain whether magnesium can be extracted in a similar way as lead. So if we take a look for magnesium, magnesium occupies much more reactive or higher reactivity than lead. As a result, the first thing is suggest the possible method if not. So explain whether we have to state whether first. No. The magnesium is much more reactive than lead. It cannot be extracted. This cannot be extracted. By carbon reduction, because we are heating with carbon, the previous one, but this time we say that it cannot carbon reduction. So only electrolysis of molten magnesium ore can extract magnesium out. So we have to electrolysis the molten magnesium ore instead of simply using carbon reduction. This is question 4.